Well, I don't know if there are any critical steps per se, because when you talk about the chief of staff role, especially here in the States, what one needs to understand is that the role is relatively new here as far as it being in corporate America. It's relatively new. We've heard of the chief of staff role in healthcare. We've heard about it in the military, via government. So it's pretty common in those industries, but not necessarily in corporate America. So we're still kind of finding our way as to what that role should look like and what it should encompass. I think that because the chief of staff role is so vast, it's one of the reasons why it's so incredibly difficult to find someone that has the breadth and width of all of the experience that's necessary to pull a role like that off. So when you find one, you need to keep it at whatever cost. I'm an advocate for the chief of staff. But some of the experience, I guess you should have definitely managerial experience, because you will not only have to manage people, you will have to manage egos, and having management and leadership experience will definitely help you navigate in that role. You need to be someone that has been an EA, an executive assistant, preferably someone at the C-suite level, because you need to understand not just the kind of what you do aspect of your business, but you need to understand how it gets done. And the EAs are usually the great gatekeepers of information when it comes to having that type of information and knowledge that you're going to need in order to pull that off. You need experience with HR. You need experience with project management. You need experience with travel. You need counseling experience. There was one particular role that I had as a chief of staff where employees would just find their way to my office to talk about issues and problems that they were having. And I mean, it was my pleasure to talk to them. In all honesty, they were supposed to go another route to have their issues heard, but because of the counseling experience that I had, I was able to hear them out and still steer them correctly. And they started looking to me as being a resource and someone that they could count on. And in the reverse, I was able to get information from them that I needed in order to do my job better. So counseling experience is important. And the last thing that I'll say, also crisis and change management experience. Those are crucial because that's the core of what your job is. You will be changing things, people, ideas, policies all the time. And being able to navigate that change and help people with that change is a crucial part of your job. And also crisis management, because you put out fires all day. You go from one crisis to the next crisis to the next crisis, and you have to be able to navigate that effectively in order to be successful in the role. So now the last thing that I'll mention is you have to be creative, not just in coming up with ideas to solve problems or to make things smoother or to help your direct reports do their job better, but you also need creativity with defining and redefining and polishing your role. Because the chief of staff role is relatively new in corporate America, as I mentioned, it's changing all the time, and every industry is different. So you're going to need to be creative and make certain that you make the role what you need it to be for that particular industry. Even as a chief of staff, depending on where you are, you may end up doing